Hello and welcome. I'm BJ Arnett, and this is This Day with BJ Arnett. It is my pleasure to always speak to some fascinating people, but today is particularly wonderful for me because I like people who have great energy. And this lady, Linda Gunter, has great energy. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You know, it's one thing to talk about somebody's book, but it's another thing to get into their life and talk about the why. And the why, yeah, everybody likes to say, because the Lord. No, but it's so much further than that. I mean, that's kind of like one of those cutie surface things.
Exactly.
But we like to get to the real nitty-gritty of who you are and what you do.
Wow.
Here's what got me. You and your husband began your ministry, Love Him, Love Them, back in 1998. And you were in the 5th, and I did not know the statistic, the 5th worst crime-ridden neighborhood in America, which I happen to teach very near. And on a university campus. And you all were real estate investors, but you recognized all of the deplorable things that were happening in that area, and you took action. Talk to us about going from, I'm a real estate investor,
Exactly.
to, wait a minute, this ain't right. You know, it was a this ain't right moment, wasn't it?
Right. Well, that all started with a lady that came up to one of our properties. It was 683 Jones Avenue. That property is still in Atlanta, obviously. She came up with a grocery cart, had everything she owned in the grocery cart, and she came and said, I want to stay in this house. And I said, well, this house isn't finished. And she said, well, I need to stay in this house. And I said, well, it's not even available for rent yet. She said, no, I need to stay in it. She said, I don't have a place to live. I'm homeless. And I said, well, then you need to call the homeless shelter because I'm a real estate agent and I'm selling the house or renting the house. I'm not giving it to you. This is not a non-profit. You know, we're looking to make some money. So she said, well, all the homeless shelters are full. And I said, that's a lie. This is August. It's nice and hot outside. There's no way they're full. She, at that time, this will tell you the era, pulled out my BlackBerry, Googled and called the homeless shelter dispatch. And I said, there's a lady here that needs a place to stay. And the lady said, well, I'm sorry, but we're full. And I said, you're full? What am I supposed to do with the lady that's standing here with the grocery cart?
Right, that's where she lives, in the grocery cart.
And the lady on the other end of the phone said, I don't know, I guess you need to open a homeless shelter. I thought, you have got your nerve.
Yep. Yeah.
6 months later, after we had turned that property into a homeless shelter, I went to a meeting, and lo and behold, it was for anyone that had anything to do with homelessness in Atlanta. And I sit down beside a lady who introduces herself to me, and I recognize that voice. And I said, you're the lady who told me I had to open a homeless shelter. And she said, you know what, Linda? I've been doing this for 27 years. I've said that 3 times. And all 3 times that I've said that on the phone, those 3 people have opened a homeless shelter.
Oh, wow. So she's called to do that. She's called to put the fire.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently. But that shelter was amazing because we did not deal with any government grants. It was just us and our Sunday school class and different people who wanted to help out. So we were able to present Jesus. And so because we had other properties, we were literally able to take you from homelessness through the shelter, give you Jesus, find you a job, help you with education, and then we could move you by owner financing into your own home. Oh, so we literally were putting people into their own properties. And it was at that time that one of my very best friends, who happened to be Haitian, I didn't realize she was Haitian at the time, but she was a mortgage broker. And so she would come and teach finances. She would teach you how to open a checking account, how to budget, you know, what to do with your funding. And that's where I met with, which not most Christian women can't say this, the mother of my children.
Oh, that is so awesome.
That's where I met the mother of my children.
That is so awesome. I think what draws me about the story is 2 things. One, you all took action by a phone call. You were affected by that lady who had the cart. I see those people every day. This is what I see in Atlanta. And Atlanta has a wonderful way of hiding their homeless when there's an event coming up in Atlanta. So this is 1998 that you all were dealing with this. And you took action immediately based upon what this woman on the other line said.
Correct.
You need to open a homeless shelter.
Correct.
And I would imagine that didn't make you feel very good at the moment.
No. I went back in and told my husband, can you believe what they said? What are we going to do with this lady? Blah, 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 blah. And my husband, who opposites attract, came out very calm, cool, and collectedly and said, ma'am, we would love for you to come in and stay. We can make you be the house sitter for the house while we're working on it. And, you know, the whole time I'm looking at him like, you have got to be kidding me. What is wrong with this man? And so sure enough, she ended up staying, and she was what ended up being one of our first residents.
Which is, that's a whole nother story within itself, because I know there were experiences that you gained with her that you can't even wrap your mouth
And you know, because most shelters will not take in certain people. Okay, so for example, I showed up here today with a 9-year-old girl and a 16-year-old boy. Well, you can't stay in a shelter if that's your case, because they have to be the same gender. Okay. And we also were able to take in women who were about to give birth. Most shelters will not do that. So pretty much we were able to do whatever we wanted to do, however we wanted to do it.
Okay, that brings up another real issue with our system, is that our system is built to separate families. What you and your husband did was bring family together.
Yeah, we actually set it up like the White House. We had a blue room, a green room, a red room. My mother-in-law came down and handmade the curtains. I mean, we were a styling homeless shelter, okay? Like our outings.
I love it.
I live on Lake Hartwell, so our outings were jet skiing over the weekend, okay? So we would come get the whole homeless shelter, come up, go to church on Sunday, and go on the boats, and we were living the life with these families, and we did reunite. We actually had an event with a girl who had witnessed a murder, had just lost her mind, had come out of a state up north. Even the Oprah Winfrey Show had been looking to try to reunite her with her family. And through us counseling with her and showing her Jesus, we literally reunited that family.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, there is that whole shelter has story after story after story.
I'm fascinated by all of the stories inside of another story. But there's something that is absolutely true about what I said about you when you first walked in. Your energy just comes out. People are attracted to people who are attractive. I'm not talking about how we look. I'm talking about the attractiveness of the spirit inside of you.
I was about to say, that's the Holy Spirit. I don't have anything to do with that.
Yeah, it's the Holy Spirit. It's kind of like leaps out and says, hey, how are you? You know, and that is what's special. But you take what the Holy Spirit has fired you up with, and then you begin to get pressed into what He really wants you to do. As you've journeyed through this process of living out life, out loud, with no filter.
Right.
Yeah, because He doesn't push us into a filter situation. Anytime Holy Spirit moves, it's a no filter moment.
Yes, ma'am. My husband has actually thought about installing a filter in me. That he could operate by remote control.
I think he knows my husband. He's like, bring it down, girl. Bring it down.
Or that squeeze underneath the table.
Yes.
Did you really say that out loud? No.
They know each other. We didn't know it.
Apparently.
Okay. So, but when you're fired up about what that is that's happening inside of you, that you know you're called to do, you have to take action. I got to bring this up.
Okay.
This book, Peanut Butter Crackers and Flip-Flops. Okay, so girlfriend does not have on flip-flops here.
No.
We have blue toes and polka dotted shoes.
Exactly.
I love her. I love her.
That's actually walking into the U.S. Embassy in Haiti. That was the very first year, yeah.
When you talk about going from what we see in the United States, and we said before we even began, that Vine City really reminds you of Haiti.
Oh, yeah.
And it does.
Oh, yeah.
It does, and people don't realize we go a lot out of the country to help people, but there are communities right here, right around the corner from you, that need help. That's your mission field, where you're looking to go away. Start with the mission field that's in your neighborhood, in your city, in your state. There are so many. But when you walked into the embassy at Haiti, you walked in, just hit the tarmac in Haiti, and your whole vision of life changes, because there's a guard at the door that you have to pass with a machete and a machine gun.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's your welcome to Haiti.
Yes, ma'am. That's
you know,
true.
I know.
Vinny and I think.
Yes.
Wait, that's true.
So you go to a country that has been delivered from Duvalier, but the residue of a Duvalier is still there.
Oh, absolutely.
How is you as an American citizen and a woman, because, you know, we're funny, we're like, we see stuff, We're not going to necessarily say it immediately, but we definitely see it. How did you move in order to be able to effectively get what you needed out of the Haitian government? Because that's not what they do.
Right. So first of all, why did I go to Haiti in the first place?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm not a mission trip girl. I'd rather stay at the Hilton or the Hyatt. You know, I don't really want to see scorpions running around.
Thank you.
That's not my thing.
Right.
Okay, so I don't want you to think that the Lord revealed to me what the angel of the Lord came and said, go to Haiti. That was not it. My best friend that I told you, her name is Myrna. She is the one who came and did the financing at the homeless shelter. She tragically left this earth in an incident that was horrible. And in that incident, her children, she had 5 children. Those 5 children lost their mother, they lost their grandmother, and they lost their father. So in 5 minutes, 5 Haitian children had nothing. Okay, so they were drop-kicked from Georgia up to New York, stayed with my friend's father, who had just lost his wife and daughter in this incident, for about a year and a half. He stayed in touch with me, very long story short, which is in the book, and this is actually in the process of being turned into a movie. Very long story, but basically I got a phone call one day. Another phone call, which is why I turn my phone off a lot.
Because you know, when you answer,
you never
it's
know.
on.
So this was the call. Linda, I have tried everyone I know. I cannot raise these kids. I'm 80 years old. You are my last phone call. If you don't take these kids, I'm splitting them up and putting them in foster care.
Oh, Jesus.
Right. So my godly, spiritual, amazing, Holy Spirit-filled self answered and said, I don't think that's my problem. I don't have any kids. I don't like kids. And I really don't want your 5 Haitian kids.
Wow.
My husband, who overheard the phone call, shook me and said, Linda, of course we'll take those kids. James 1:27. Real religion that God himself considers pure and faultless is this, to care for the orphans in a hot mess. They're in a hot mess.
Yes.
To which I then responded, I'm not Jesus.
Wow. So this was
You
a whole core issue.
I don't want these kids.
Yeah. Because you were the one who were going to have to every day.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I caught that. Yes, I did. I did. Yeah.
So fast forward through about 4 chapters in the book, and on the 17th day of the 7th month of the year 2007,
Jesus.
the family living in my house went to the size of 7 with children the ages of 7 to 17. It took me about 2 years. I didn't even have a vehicle. I was driving a Jaguar at the time.
Needed a van.
And needed a minivan.
That's right.
Didn't have a vehicle big enough for them. I did not even know where the elementary schools were in my neighborhood. I didn't even know I had no idea what I was doing. Had 2 in elementary, 1 in middle, 1 in high, 1 who had dropped out of school while he was in New York. Got everybody situated, everybody settled. And after about 2 years, I decided, everybody knew their story and treated them like victims. So Christmas at our house was very big. I mean, we would spend hours opening gifts. By 2011, I ran our house by family meetings, and I made a motion at our family meeting, and I said, this Christmas, nobody's getting nothing. And instead, we're gonna take all the money we would normally spend on gifts, and we're gonna go to Haiti, and I'm gonna take you back to where you came from.
So you see.
And so you could be a little more grateful to me.
Thank you.
That was my attitude.
Yeah,
that was
they
my
need
attitude
to know.
at the time.
No, I get it.
Get on a plane. My very white husband, myself, and our 5 Haitian children, we get on a plane, we go to Haiti, and we go and we help 17 girls in an orphanage. We took all their stuff. But while we were there, the pastor who was helping us around, he said, Linda, I have a friend. He and I used to play music together. Now, this is the year after the earthquake.
Right.
He said, so after the earthquake, children who lived in this neighborhood who had lost their families, they just all started staying with him, and I want to take you over there. And again, I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
I was like, we don't have the gifts, we don't have this.
I only have 30 seconds left in the show.
Oh my gosh, okay.
For those of you who don't know, we're going to continue this story.
Oh, okay.
I realize it's only 30 seconds left.
Sorry.
But here's what you got to know, Linda. This is like where the good stuff gets in. This is where it gets deep. This is where if you are scared, you need to get it together, because we're about to go deep. And if you don't want to go deep, I don't know what's up. We'll be back in a moment. God bless.
I'm sorry.